And if you're a co-host, then you need to say, okay. And so there's Jan. Let is spotlight Jan for everyone.
Hi, Jan.
Hey guys, so just a couple of announcements. The UMBS 35th anniversary party was just a lovely success. It was so much fun to see people dressed up, wearing their jewels, wearing their crowns, wearing their shoulder sashes. It was really a lot of fun. We have a boatload of pictures that we're in the process of getting loaded. We're gonna put them on a secured member page. So the link is going to end up being on the a members only page. And we'll send out an email and put something on the front of the website to tell you that those pictures are available. But we have a lot of them, and again, it was great fun. And thanks to everybody who joined us, and for all the people who donated to Raid Your Stash, that ended up as door prizes and in the gift bags. So it was fun for me anyway. I hope everybody else had fun. We also, just a week and a half ago, did the Twin Cities Bead Bazaar Saturday and Sunday. So for those of you who didn't attend, we had 3 make and take tables teaching snowflakes. I was teaching a bookmark kit that Maggie Thompson had generously donated to us. And we made a bunch of those. I had people raised as young as 12 years old. Lots of people. I think we figured out about 35 bookmarks that we made. I can't imagine how many snowflakes we made. A lot of those, and other earrings. And
49.
oh wow, so that was great. We had a lovely time doing that, and hopefully we'll be able to do that again next year. And I did want to point out, it was in my president's letter, but the Northern Virginia Bead Society has been around for 35 years, and they are closing down, shutting down shop because no one wants to be president. So, I know everybody's busy and has a lot going on, but anything you can do to help with the committees. We shop for our board members with the people that volunteer for committees. So, volunteer to do a committee. It doesn't have to be a big, commitment of your time. And again, thank you so much to all of the board members who do the lion's share of the work for the organization. We're very fortunate to have the group that we have. And the Northern Virginia Bead Society shutting down is just a reminder of how important it is and how lucky we are to have the group we have that is, pretty non-judgmental. We love to see each other's work. It was delightful to see the centerpieces of people's work at the 35th anniversary party, just to see how much talent we have in the organization. And one other reminder, for those of you who sign up through PayPal to pay your membership fees, we get your email address and we get your address. Becky, correct me if I'm wrong. We do not get your phone number. It is handy for us to be able to contact you for things. And if you move or if something changes with your email address, please contact Becky and get that information updated so that we can get a hold of you. And I think that's all I've got. Rochelle, back to you.
All right. Let's see, where am I? Oh, there I am. There's such a wonderful group here today. So it was hard to find me in the little thing. Thank you so much to everybody who's been donating to our Mall of America tree program. We are decorating this Friday at 2 o'clock, and so we're very darn excited. So pretty much tomorrow and Wednesday, if you're dropping anything off, it would have to actually be to the Mall of America. I am working from 10 to 4. So you could drop them off to me or to one of the other employees after I leave. They all know it's coming, and we have a special shelf where they all go. But please put your name on the bag or put your card in there, but label your thing of what you've donated so we can thank you properly and have you, represented everybody on the tree. And it's all handmade ornaments, is like an old-fashioned Christmas is the theme. So anything, it doesn't have to be a snowflake or a fancy star. It could be those nifty little felted reindeer we used to make. I don't know if you did too, but in the popsicles for the ears. Um, so um my birthday is right there. So we played pin the nose on Rudolph. So at my birthday party. But anyway, so drop them off. This is your last. So don't give them to any more board members because then that means they'd have to come to the mall. So if you're going to donate, this is it. We also have wonderful fundraiser coming up. Hannah might talk a little bit about it since she's the incredible person running it. All the donations are in now. We're getting the final details of everything, and they'll be uploaded onto our Facebook special event page of all the things so you can see what they are, check them all out, and then you'll be able to bid or buy it now starting on the 12th of November. And she said that's her time, that's specific, so that's like 2 a.m. So if you want to wake up in the morning and do it, or you have some insomnia, then you could, shop away. And thank you to everyone who donated to our fundraiser. It's going to be really nice. And Hannah will be, and I will having a special Let's Be Live on the 16th of November, right in the middle. So anything that hasn't been bid on yet, then we will be able to show you in person and you can ask questions more. Can I see those colors better or whatever it is you like? And we'll also be having some special giveaway promotions and things happening during our live show. So it'll only be live. You won't be able to participate in that kind of thing. But everything else. So they'll just be extra special little things because we're silly. And we appreciate you if you join us on a Saturday afternoon. Then we have our member meeting which is in person. So December 2nd, is that correct?
Uh,
Um,
hang tight. Let me take a look. I can't
the
remember.
first Monday in December.
Yeah, it's whatever the first one, which would
Sorry.
be the second.
The
Yes.
second. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's Sue's Clum, and it's in person. It's at the Edina Senior Center. So we've been there before. It's a really great location, right off of Highway 100 and like 50th Vernon, depends on which way you come from. But there's a perfect parking lot. It's attached to the library as well, so you can enter on the library side or on the other side and join us for that in-person open meeting. Starts at 4:30 on that day, and then the actual meeting that will be zooming, we're going to start show and tell at 6 o'clock that night, and then Sue's Clum will start at 6:30. She's leading us in this wonderful little project that you can add beads to if you want to or not. Let me look it up so I pronounce it correctly. But we're making like a little ornament and you can get all your project stuff for it from her. She's got them special. Most of it is all free for UMBS members. Then there's extras you can pay for, but the supplies and all the lists are there. So check out Sue's Clum. She's down south at Glass Garden Beating. And so she's got all the lists on there. She's put a set of directions. It's called Shashiko. And it's a mini softy plus a mini square peyote project. So she's bringing a bunch of stuff. So go to umbs.org, go to the calendar, check it all out, and then you'll be well prepared for the meeting. You can get started now, and we're just so darn excited that we've got all kinds of other things for you. And then also our Let's Be Live is December 7th. And that is also going to be very soon on there. It's a project with a ornament with Lisa Dooley. And that'll just be a Zoom only one. So everybody check it all out and join us for all the fun. And remember, if you haven't joined we've invited several people to join the private group on Facebook too. And if you haven't received your invite for that, it's because you need to be a friend of one of the people on the board. I can't invite you unless you're one of our friends. It's one of those Facebook craziness. So whether you're my friend or Hannah's friend or Becky's friend, then we could invite you. So if you have not been invited to the private group, please let us know and then we'll properly get you everywhere. So, because we love having you in our community. So, thank you so much. I'm going to turn it over to Hannah, or does any other board member have any announcements? Okay, then Hannah, do you want to tell us a little bit more about anything that I missed on the
I think you did a great job. Thank you so much. I'm really thankful for everybody who donates to the fundraiser. It means that we can get wonderful, wonderful speakers in. We've got a really exciting lineup so far for next year. And it also means that we can do things like do in-person classes and stuff. So all of that is super exciting for me. So thank you. Absolutely, for your donations and for your participation and for being a member of the board or a member of the community or both. And and other than that, I'd love to go ahead and introduce our speaker for tonight and then turn it on over to him. Hi, Edgar.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
So let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about him, and then he's going to take it away. So Edgar Lopez is a Dominican fashion designer. He's currently living in around New York on Long Island, and he started in the beading world in 2010. However, he didn't start his craft work in 2010. He started in 2002 when he started experimenting with different jewelry and accessory techniques. He's going to show you some great work today. He's going to show you how he gets there. I'm so excited. But he said and wrote, "Since I can remember, I was always interested in art, design, and building all sorts of things with my hands. They're skills that were inherited from his paternal grandmother, who was always a very creative person. Today, he can bring all these qualities, creating pieces that he loves, and fill him with excitement. And I think as you see them, they're going to fill you with excitement and inspiration too, because he gave us, Rochelle and I, a little taste of this lecture that he's going to give. It's so wonderful. So, after studying architecture and seeking activities that he could do as a hobby, he realized that he really loved the jewelry. He studied jewelry design and um, and participated in several contests in design as a contestant and as a juror. His creations have been published in multiple magazines and books in the US, Latin America, and Europe. He's also taught all over the world. So he says, creating is his passion as an architect and designer of jewelry. And he learned to mix the best of both worlds. He mixes shapes, textures that he sees in nature or in buildings. And as a Caribbean, he loves color and loves to be risky with their combinations. So thank you so much for joining us. And those of you who are watching, if I can ask you to turn off your microphones, except for when you need questions, then take it away. Edgar, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful presentation, and I hope to feel of the what you are expecting from me. Um, as you say, I'm from Dominican Republic. I almost live all my life there. I just have 5 years living here in New York. So if you see that I have a strong accent, please forgive me for that. And if you don't understand me, just let me know because it's not my first language. So today, what I want to do is have a talk with everybody. So feel free if you need to ask me anytime you need. Um, I will be talking about my work, how I work, how do I get from the imagination to the reality. And I will be posting you some things about my work first. Uh, I like to talk about colors. So my work, people know my work for two things. First is because I use a lot of color. That's a thing that is important for me. I love that. The other thing is big projects that people think that probably they are complicated, but they are not. I like to use components that I create, and then I I just continue using the same components. Sometimes I will talk about that later. Um, but yes, for me, first color is very, very, very important. I wrote a few things about what I think what is the color and how it works. And I don't want to read everything because probably it's too much. But I will put the presentation on the screen. You will have the presentation in your emails later. Uh, but let me start from there. So this is something that I wrote um, about what is the color. That part is not important right now, but the thing that is important for me is what the colors means for you, or in this case for me, because we have a general conception about what is the colors or what every color means, but that is not always right because the color can have a particular meaningful for you depending your culture, where do you live, and the circumstances that surround you. For example, even if one color means something fun for you, if you have a traumatic experience that involves that color, that will not be fun for you anymore. So that's what I want to tell with that is the color can have multiple meanings depending what do you feel and your culture. Uh, but the most important thing for me is what I do with the color. So when you see one of my projects, for example, uh, all the colors that I choose have some meaning because I like to express myself or through my work. So and the colors and the shapes are my words. So I want for everybody to have some feeling when you see my work without telling you what I am thinking. So when you are trying to use the colors, that is an important thing that you have to take in mind. I'm trying to talk about that because all the time people ask me uh, about why I choose the colors, why I use a lot of colors. So when I was raised in the Caribbean, so I was all the time surrounding by colors. So uh, that is part of me. So when I am in design and I am trying to show you who I am, what do I want you to know about me or about my work. And another thing that is very important for the people and the color is sometimes people say, okay, you have used a lot of colors, but I don't, or I am afraid to use colors. That's the most, I think most of the people tell me about that, that they are afraid to use colors. And they ask me what I can do. How can I start to use colors? So what I always say is this, what I wrote in this. So if you are doing something for and you don't know how to choose your colors, I ask you, what is your inspiration? So what do you want to express? That is important when you want to choose a color. Or are you choosing the color for you or for other people? Because again, what means something for you probably for others is not the same. And also, what color combination do you like more, or what do you like less? That is very important to know in the beginning. But mostly, I use a lot of influence from the nature. Everything that I have around me. For example, now I have a garden, and I have a lot of different flowers. I take pictures of my flowers every day. So I have a really big gallery of colors. Sorry, because the nature doesn't is always right. When you see, sorry, the color combination of the flower on the trees. I'm sorry if you see that I'm coughing sometimes. I have problem with my voice sometimes. um, so taking those pictures, with those pictures, I create like a mood board. That is a board that you have to get inspired. I do that for colors or for designs. So I put these pictures as a sample of what can be your mood board. For example, you can take pictures from internet or picture of your beats, because and then use those pictures and put those pictures together. You can find some color inspiration from there. Also, using different prints on fabrics. Sometimes I have different small pieces of fabric with the prints that give me a lot of inspiration too. But in my case, it's mostly my flowers, because this is something that is special for me. So um, that is my mood board is mostly using those pictures. But also sometimes we have to know uh, that colors when you are doing beading is different than when you are, for example, using clothes or painting your house, because the beads and the crystals reflects the light around you, so that can affect um, the how you perceive the colors. So now I want to show you how is my work, how I work. So when I was telling you before that I work using components, my first career, I study architecture. So the what I have to do is design. For example, design a house. When I am designing a house, somebody have to build the house later, and they use the same materials mostly all the time. They can use bricks, they can use wood, different kind of wood or different kind of color of bricks, but they are using the same materials. So I do the same with my jewelry. I always use the same materials, and I use sometimes the same components, but I am building a different design all the time. For example, in this part, I want to show you my work and how I went from one design from the other to other using the same components. This here is one of my big necklaces. The name of the necklace is Kaona. So you probably, if you see it, you can say, oh, it's too complicated, too much things. But if you detail what I did here, and I will be drawing something here. So if you see here, I use two different components to create what I did. For example, I use the squares that you can see. I am trying to draw over the square. So you can see this is like a line of squares. So I did all the squares and then I put all of them together. And the second component is this one here. This is a whole piece. One is bigger, one is smaller, but it's the same thing. And just using two components, I create all the necklace and less this part. This part is the center, which is also the same component with different size and shapes. Is cubic triangle with just bezel in the stones. So when you understand what I did and you see it again, you see, oh, it's not that complex. It's kind of complex. It's just a lot of work, but actually it's easy. So this, the second picture, what you are looking here, watching here, is the same, exactly the same components. So I have here, for example, the same strip that I use, just smaller, and the same squares that I use for the big necklace. But this time is a bracelet. And also then the closure is just two bezel stones as I bezel in this case I use peyote, in the other case I use cubic, but it's the same thing. The bezels and the square and the strips is the same. So in this case, I send an email, so you will have this instruction how to do this bracelet, explaining step by step how you can make the squares, the strips, and put everything together. So, but when you are able to do this, you are also able to do the necklace. It's more work, but you know how I did everything now.
I'm very excited to make it. Thank you so much for giving us the pattern.
Thank you. I will be more excited when I see pictures of your finished work because I love to see that.
Yes.
So here I have another example of one of my designs. This one is a combination of beading with embroidery, with embroidery, and so this one also is the same. It's exactly the same technique that I used for the previous one. And in the back I have the same chains. I don't put that picture here because I will be showing another things later. But I did the same thing for both. And then from that, those two necklaces, I just did a small bracelet using exactly the same components, the same technique, the same component. I had those stones that left from one of the necklaces, so I decided to do another thing. And what I'm trying to show you is you don't need to do like a really big projects. If you know the technique, you can do anything. This one is another of my necklaces. So I want you to see here, this part is repetitive in the whole necklace. This is a component that you have to do a few times until you have the length of the necklace. But also this component create this bracelet. I did some variation on the top and on the bottom to make it work in the way that I like. But it's this same component here. The stones are smaller. I just did the component smaller, changing size and a few measurements. And also using the same component, I create this bracelet, which is this here, this here, this here, and this here. I just did more embellishments around, put everything together, and I tried to hide some part of the embellishment, but it's the same. So this one is another of my big projects that I have. I think this was my first big necklace many years ago. And this probably was more than 10 years ago. I don't remember exactly. So when I was doing this necklace, I tried to create a pattern that is repetitive, because to do something big is better that way. So what I did was use the same component here, the fans that I use. Okay, I have a question here. Where do you purchase your beads? I haven't seen the 2-hole diamond shape beads. So the shape, the diamonds that you are asking for, the name are gem duos. I have some of my supplier sells mostly wholesale, but this one I sorry, the one that you are asking, I buy it from Beatsmith. The name is Gem Duo, but you can find that in almost all the bead stores. They have it. It's very easy to find. If not, you can write me and I can send you some samples if you want. You're welcome, Terry. So sorry. So here, I create two different pieces. Okay, I have somebody telling where you can find it. This says rbeats.com, Lotus Beats, and Bobby Beats. So they sell all the 10 duos. Thank you for the recommendation. So these two components that I have here, one is made with brick stitch, which is, there are like little fans. I think I did more than 100 for this necklace. And then I have the small squares that just using for the earrings and for the top of the necklace. So using those components, I did this one, which is the same name of the necklace, Caribbean Dream. Is a necklace, I use the squares in the center, which also are the same squares that I use for the first necklace and for the bracelet. And the two in the sides are the earrings and also the closure. So the first time that I create the squares was for this necklace many years ago. Then I use it many times. As you see in the picture, I did some variation after that. Terry is asking me, okay, the shiny gold are 24 carats gold plate. I can tell you later what is the number of that one, so you can find it looking for the number. So I was telling about this. The first time that I create that component was more than 10 years ago and was for this necklace. After that, I started to do some variation of the squares until I got here. And you can see that I use it for many of my projects. And also using the fans, using the brickstick technique, I did this. That was the same inspiration. I did it for earrings. Earrings are one of the things that I most like to design. I don't do it as often as I like now because when I was living in Dominican Republic, they use like big earrings. So I design a lot of big earrings for that time. Not so much now. So this is another of my projects. This is Doris bracelet. I create this component, the one that is the main one in the center for this bracelet. But then after that, I used the same one for sorry, for the sandals. I just have to repeat the component for this design, and then I did a different one for the center. The sandals also are handmade. And then also using the same component, I create the earrings. So as you can see, just one component gives me 3 different designs. This one is another project that I have, and that was a bracelet. I love to do like my high magnet closures, so the closure is inside this. And then using the cubic triangle for that I use in the size, in each size, I also did a pendant. And using the components that I use in the center, I did the top of the pendant. So what I'm trying to explain or trying to say with all these pictures and what I am showing you now is you don't have limits. You just have to try to create. So one day you can, for example, I send you the pattern for one of my projects, but you can reimagine that pattern using the same components and doing a different design, which I would love to see. So this one, thank you, Teresa. This one, thank you, is another bracelet, which are different components that I use inside. I use a lot of gold, if you can see. And then using the same components, I create a different project. This one was a bracelet. No, this one was a pendant. The bracelet is the first one. But I create just changing the size. For example, for the bracelet, the size of the components was bigger. For the pendant, sorry, for the bracelet was smaller, but it was the same components. Then I have one of the necklaces. This necklace, I did it for this year. But the inspiration of this necklace comes from here. Was an earrings, a flower earrings made with seed beads that I did like 8 years ago or more, probably. So using those uh, flowers, I create these flowers. It's exactly the same technique. The only thing that I changed was uh, the, I use different colors for each layer, and I use ribolis or in such tones for the center. So doing some variation, making some variation, I create a different uh, piece of jewelry. This one is another um, necklace with flowers inspiration. I really love to use flowers as an inspiration and butterflies. And the inspiration, also I did this one this year. So the inspiration from this one was these two earrings that I did. I think I did those, the first one probably 7 years ago, and the second one 6 years ago. So if you see, the colors are very close to the colors that I use uh, in the background. Then I use another colors to make it work in a different way. But the center flower is the top flower of the earring. Exactly the same technique, just the size and the stone inside. That I changed that, and then the size of the necklace are exactly the shape of these earrings. The second pair of earrings, exactly the same thing. I just add some colors, different colors on top, and some crystals, as you can see here, but it was exactly the same. So these are part of what I do for my work. Use the colors and use components of my bricks for to design. So what I want you to know with that is you don't need to use a lot of different components of a lot of different techniques to create great things. Just using a few things, you can uh, create different designs. It's what I like to do. Let me show you this. So the other things that I like to show everybody is how I get from the start to the end of my work. So I have an example. I used to teach a class in my country. The name was From the Imagination to the Reality, where I teach my students how to design a project from the beginning and then the whole process to make it real. This is just an example of what I do to get there. So first, if I have a really complex design in terms of size, I like to draw. I make a sketch, and then after the sketch, I do I will help you, Terry, about the Chinese call. I think I have a few of them here. So after I do the sketch, I try to do a drawing with colors to see what I want to do. So after I have that inspiration, and the inspiration was what I explained you before, how I get inspired, the colors that I use, why I use colors. So after I do all of that and I do my drawing, I try to start to choose my beads. In this case, the picture doesn't help very much because uh, the colors of the stone are more strong. But this is, I start to choose what stone I want to use. In this case, those are Larimars. They are more blue, but in the pictures, they doesn't see as blue as they are. But that is the first step. Try to choose my beads or my stones, and then I start to work. So I have a lot of components with a lot of threads everywhere. I don't like to see much threads, but it's the first step. And then I have many mannequins here. I really like to use the old ones. But I start from there. I put then in the order that I like to use it for the necklace, following the drawing that I did. But in that point, they are not really together. They are just with pins, so they are not attached really. Some of them, but I just want to see how they look in the mannequin and see if they will fit. So this is the back. I start, if you can see here, you can see the pins. You can see here. You can see here, there are another pins hide in the picture. But I start to do that. It's a long process. Then I start, when I know what I want to do, I start to put everything together, but there still has some pins. For example, I was adding the chain in the back of the necklace. Before you have to do something, it's better that you try it to see if work, to see if you like it. Because sometimes I draw something, but in the process I have some issues because I don't like what I see, or I want to change the size of some stones. So after they do that, then I'm sure what I want to do. I finish the project, I finish the necklace, and then I start to think how I will present that work, that necklace, for example. So normally I do everything. I have people who work for me when I need to do another things. But in this case, I draw the clothes that I want to use for the pictures. And then some people will make that for me. And then this is the first step after I finish the necklace. So I have to create all the look that I want. Some people doing the hair, some people doing the makeup, and I am there trying to tell them what I want to do. So after that, I have the model. She's wearing the necklace now. I am doing all the stuff to make it work. And then it's the shooting. She's posing, and this is the photographer, and this is the final work. Normally, I do all the retouch of the picture because I like to do that. But this is the process that I do for work. I don't know if you have questions until now, because I don't want just to talk. I don't know if you want to say something. But normally that is my whole process. I like to choose colors, get the inspiration of the colors that I use, normally from nature, but also for everything that I have around me. And then I started to imagine my components. I have a lot of different components and try to make it work for a particular design. I also have another part of my life as a designer that is not just beading. I create costumes and masks for carnival in my country, and I try to use the same concept that I explained you about colors and beading. I try to embellish as much as I can the mask with some beads, and I want to show you that part of me. I want to show you some pictures. The carnival that we do before I show you the pictures, and after that you can ask me all the questions that you want. But the kind of carnival that we do is a tradition in our country. So, for example, in my town, every Sunday of February, we have like a parade. In the parade, we have different group of people wearing costumes and masks. All the costumes are made of paper, and the masks are like animals. It's like normally are like demon animals uh, that that you that you have to wear. So it's a tradition that mostly go from friends and family. For example, in my group, we have around 45 people, and we have 28 years doing that. So are uh, most of the people in my group have family. So we have the children, the husband, the wife, all everyone wearing the costumes. It's something that we like to do, and I want you to show that's part of me because everything is designed. So the same thing that I showed you before, I start from one sketch, and then I put some colors in the sketch. In the picture, if you can see, there are some texture in the colors because it's paper. It's supposed to be paper, so I try to do that in the drawing. And this is in Spanish, but I will let you know what is the here. So what I do after I do the drawing is I put all the colors separate with the name of each color and where each color have to be, because I'm not the one who make that. I just do the design and in the embellishment after they do the costume and the mask. So I need to be very specific of what they have to do. So I try, for example, these are small pieces of paper. So I try to detail how they can put all the small pieces of paper in the order that is supposed to be to create the look that I want. So here is one of the persons doing the costume. They do the costume, the paper over the fabric, and they have to put a lot of layer. It's something that is have to be handmade for the tradition, and this a lot of layers and layers of paper. So it's heavy and hot inside of the costume, and this is the one of the molds of the mask. This is me. After they do that, they have to do many mask and paint a mask. And after they paint the mask comes to me, and I do the embellishment. So if you see here, I am working in thinking how I can embellish the mask. So I do the first, and then I have people that will do more. They help me to do more. So, but normally all what I try to use is sequins, some Swarovski that you can glue, and feathers. And I try to use more things because so this is one of the finished mask. You see, have a lot of crystals. The horns are doesn't usually doesn't have all that embellishment. I did it, and all that have to be handmade. Also, it's not any machine involved. So after that, next is try one of the costume with one of the people who will be wearing. So you can see it here. Each costume with the mask is around 50 and 70 pounds, depending the size, because there are people like that are larger, shorter. So depending the people, that is the weight of each one. So it's not easy to wear that, and we have to run, we have to jump, we have to do a lot of things using that. And this is a picture of all my groups. I think there are between 28 and 30 people in that picture wearing the mask and the costumes. I am one of them there. So this is my work. This is what I like to do, and this is what I want to show to everyone. I hope you enjoy what I do and the passion that I put that in my work, because I know that it's a business for me, but it's a business because that was my choice. I studied another career, and when I met the bidding war, for me was a total change in my life. I started to do different techniques like metal smithing, um, macrame, resin, a lot of different things that I do. But beading is my work, is my passion, is what I like to do for living and for day to day. It allows me to use my colors, allows me to use shapes and express myself. And the most important thing for me is that help me to make other people happy. When I am showing one of my design and I see how excited is another person to do it, that's made me happy. So that's why I love to see when somebody make one of my projects and send me picture. That's is all for me. So thank you so much for inviting me today. If you have questions, you can ask me, and let me find also the number of the beads that were asking me for. I have some of them here.
Edgar, question for you.
Mm-hmm.
How long, that last necklace that you showed us with the beautiful back part, how long did it take you to make that? My goodness.
Well, that one, and I think the other two big necklaces that I did was probably around 3 months of work. Not working all the day in them, but
Right.
probably working 2 or 3 hours every day because I have to do another things. But see, yes, 3 months
Mm-hmm.
working 2 or 3 hours a day. If I put more time, I can do it. But in the beginning is slower because you need to start again many times until you have what you like.
Right, right. Till you get the design that you want.
Yes. So for the person who was asking me about the gym, I don't have the. Oh yes, then I will write the number of the Gen Duo in the chat group so you can have it if you need it.
I have a question about, this is Sue Swanson. I have a question about your costumes. First of all, what is the mold made of? Is it clay or paper mache? And can you use the costumes year after year, or are they a 1 year
Um,
project?
for the custom and the mask, the mold is made um with I don't know how to say that in English, but it's it's clay. It's a certain type of kind of clay, and then over that is paper mache. You have to put some layers of paper mache. After that, normally, if the mask is too complex, you have to cut the mask in the middle and take it off of the mold, because sometimes it have a lot of horns, so that is hard to take the mask outside of the mold. So you have to cut in the middle and then glue it together. And after that, you have to sand and polish the mask many times. Then you have to paint it in white, and then you put the colors that you want. And then after that is the process of embellishment. It's a lot of work, because just the embellishment of the mask is a lot of hours each mask. So I have normally between 10 and 15 people working with me just in the embellishment. And we have to embellish like 35, 40 masks, depending how many people will wear it. And the people who made the mold and the mask, they are like 8 people. And the process can be slower or faster depending. Sometimes to make the process fast, they use an external heat to dry the paper mache. Sometimes they just use the light of the sun, depending how many you have to do.
And can they be used year after year, or do you
Oh,
dispose of?
sorry. Yes, sorry about that. Well, no, we don't wear it year after year. We just wear it every year. A year have to be a different mask, different costume. The costume is paper, so we have to fix the costume every week, because it's paper, so it's not. You will have a lot of damage when you are wearing the costume. So every week during 1 month, you have to fix that one. But normally we have one of the costumes that we don't wear it, just to have it for pictures and for TV or something like that. And the mask, well, we have a collection of masks because it's one every year. I have 28 years using doing that, so I have to give a lot of my masks. I just have like 5 now. But what I do is this. I do a small version of every year, because it's hard to travel in a flight from Dominican Republic to here with a really big mask, because they're really big. So I do one every year. This one is made in resin. I do the mold uh, with silicone, and then this is with the resin, and then I paint it and do all the embellishment. So I have all my mini mask with me.
So is that the one for 2025?
No, this is the one from 2 years ago, because the other are in the other room. The one from the past year is very complex, so it will take me some time to finish that one, because when it's too small, it's hard to do all the details. But that is also something that I like, so I enjoy that part.
It definitely looks like you do. Glue. You glue them on, right? All the little rhinestones and sequins are all glued on.
Mostly they are glue. Some of the embellishment doesn't is too hard to glue it. So sometimes they are so what to do holes to the mask and then sew it to the mask too. So it's it's depending the design. Every year have to be different. For the next year, I will put some LED light in the mask, so the mask will have light.
Wow.
I didn't do that before because the technology wasn't so good. So we use everything in the day. So we need some really bright light. Now we can do that.
Mhm. There's a question here from somebody asking if your necklaces were worn in the fashion shows.
I I worked for fashion for around 10 years when I was living in Dominican Republic. I have been here in two fashion shows in New York, but most of them in my country. And yes, a lot of my work is was used in fashion. I don't do that um, too often now. I just do it for some fashion designers that are my friends because fashion is a really hard work, so it's not easy.
Definitely.
I like to be working with my beats and teaching. That's the thing that I think uh, make me feel better the most. That's what I like. When I am doing a new project, sometimes I even can't to sleep properly because I am thinking what I want to do, what I want to change, how will look. I love that. So that's
So
it's
do you use
very
design in your sleep while you're beating? You design and you're writing the pattern as you go and
yes, and I have to wake to get out of my bed sometimes because if not maybe I forget that now that I have dogs, I I can work as fast as I can because I have to take care of my dogs and I have if I have an idea I have to write something or draw something before I forget it because it's not easy but normally it's that what I like to do. So now I have a question for the who want to talk about that. So I was talking in the beginning about colors. So I want a few people who can tell me what colors you like and what colors you don't like and why. So a few people who can tell me that.
feel free unmute and talk.
So,
Well, I kind of like, this is Paulette, and I've taken classes with Eckerd before. He's a fabulous teacher, so just would recommend him highly. He's very generous in his teaching and designing kits and, making the customer happy. And it's fabulous working with him.
Thank you.
But since I was born in Florida, so I think I tend to go with the watercolors, anything that's, blues and greens, aquas, sand and beach, that kind of a thing. When I was little, I used to like sometimes wearing pink and orange, but I'd say probably orange is probably one of the colors I don't like to wear now that I'm older or work with. But I will have to say, working with you, I probably have changed some of my ideas now because and you see it in your work, it's like, oh, okay, that looks really good, all those
You know,
colors.
pink and orange goes very well if you use the right shade of colors.
Yeah. And that's probably it. It's like, I come from originally as art, working in art stuff, before I did anything with beading or anything else. And I think that's true. It's like, there's no such thing as an orange. There's a variation of orange. And one of my favorite is a when I think about it, like in flowers and stuff, if you can find that peach orange flower or the rose that has the gradation of color, those are sometimes some of my favorites because they're not, they're not easily sought. You don't see them around that much. So I do like some orange. It's just that, I don't know, neon orange, I guess.
It's hard. Orange is a hard one for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
And I
have here.
think that most of us have a tendency to work with colors that match more of our skin tones. So for me, I'm warm, so I like the jewel tones. And actually the colors that you have with the pinks and the blues and the maybe some of the aquas and stuff, those are fabulous. And I think a number of people have said the colors are really, really good. And I had a question. Were you self-taught on beading?
In the beginning, well, yes. In the beginning, I saw a lady one day wearing a beading bracelet, and I want to do it. I was doing another techniques of jewelry, and I asked her if she can teach me how to do that bracelet because the colors keep my attention. So she didn't know how to teach me. He did the bracelet herself, but she didn't know how to teach that. We tried it in the beginning, but for me it was hard because I wasn't understanding what is the process. So I asked her if she can, if I can have the bracelet for a couple of days, and she agreed. So I am very visual, so I figured it out how to do it, looking in internet or some book. There wasn't much internet available in my country with the techniques in that moment, but I figured out how to do it and I did it. Then after that, I bought a lot of books. I still have the books here about techniques, and I try to understand all the techniques. After that, I started to design. My first big work was for a fashion designer, and he won an embellishment for a dress. And I didn't have the experience yet in the bidding, but I say yes. So I did it, helping me with books. But yes, I never have like classes of bidding. Everything was from the books and from the internet that I find. That's normally what I do.
I took a color workshop with Margie Deeb, and what she had us use was paint chips from the hardware store and play with them and match them. And that was a really good way to find colors combinations that you liked and that you disliked.
So I have an exercise that I put to my students. Okay, I have Lana tell me that she likes turquoise and blue and pinks. I love those colors too. So the exercise that I put is two. One is the reason why I was asking you what colors do you like and what colors you don't like. So normally I have a small talk with my students talking about the colors, and then I ask them what they like and what they don't like. When they are talking, I am taking notes to see with the names of everyone. So what I do is I try to put to everyone, they have to do something, can be big, can be small, but they have to do something using two of the colors that they like with one of the colors that they don't like, any of them. So I am forcing them to get out of the comfort zone and make it work the color that they don't like with what they like. And most of the time, the result is amazing because they need to do they need to do the project and make it work. So that is one of the exercises that I put is pushing you to work with something that you don't like because you have to think. It's the first thing. And then for inspiration, I have like a group of cards, the one that you use to play. So in each one, I glue different patterns that I found in magazines or print of fabrics because you have a lot of combination of colors in the fabrics and also in the pictures in the magazine. So you have all your cards with each card with a combination, and then you can match that in different ways. That is a really, really, really good way because you can see a lot of different things. In my case, what I use is pictures. I love to take pictures. So every time that I in the street or in my garden, if something keep my attention, I take a picture. So I have a lot of things to work when I want to get inspiration. So you can use that too.
I like to use chameleon colors, like a matte silver, because you can either warm it up or you can, use the cooler colors with it. I mean, even, gold with the matte silver is really pretty. There's a soft blue color that Rochelle knows the color number of. It's a Toho blue that I absolutely loved. And I think she picked it out for me one time. And I've used that with everything. And Iris Brown, I love the chameleon colors.
Oh, nice. That's got a good idea also. So another thing that I do is in my project have a lot of different colors just in one project, but I normally I don't show all the colors. Sometimes there are two or three colors that are like the main thing in the project, and then the other colors are more just helping the others to shine. So you don't need to to use like 7 colors to stand up. You can use just two or one color. The other colors is just to help around, and that is a thing that you learn in the process.
Any other questions or color answers?
I noticed in your background you've got all your colors on the wall behind you on the pegboard.
Mm-hmm.
Do you use that for inspiration too?
Yes, if you can see here, I try to put everything in a family of colors. And what is easy for me also when I am trying to do a new design, I say, okay, I have this, I don't have the other color also that helped me to see what I have to order. But yes, I try to put everything in shapes, size, and family of colors. That is a really good idea in when you have to design because also that give you ideas. And sometimes it's good to have some mess around your table or your board because also that give you ideas. When you see even you see that there are some colors that you probably think don't match, they will.
So is there a color that you don't like, Edgar, and why?
Well, I I don't have colors that I don't like. That's for sure. But I don't use much browns, and I only use black when I am trying to do something more formal or elegant. but that is a personal taste that comes from my country. My country, the people are very colorful, so we use. I love to use black for me, like now. And but in terms of colors, I don't use much black or browns. But it's because people in my country don't use it as much as I want. But I force myself sometimes to use it. For example, for the fashion shows, I use a lot of black. Another thing, I use gold most of the times for my projects, but I never wear gold.
Wow.
I never wear anything because it doesn't match with me. I don't like it for me. But for my projects, it's, for example, here I have one and the same in silver. Normally, I don't do much samples in silver. I do the samples all in gold, but it's just if I think if I can tell something is I don't use for the seed beads I use mostly gold, and for my crystal I don't use much black. I have not much of them here. I love to use yellow a lot, but yellow is not very popular with people, and also it's hard to find a really good yellow in the crystals.
Mhm. Yeah, yellow's a really tough color, and it's very, very hard. I put it in the Toho Challenge last year for the first time, and it was very hard for some people to use in their design, or they used it in a very small amount.
I like to use a lot of yellow in my costumes for the carnival because the paper have a really good yellow colors, but for the crystals it's not the same.
Yeah.
I found that pairing yellow with blue, I like it a lot better.
Yellow and blue all goes very well together.
And it's interesting because most artists, they do paint. Paint yellow is a very important color. Because it can really brighten something out. Add one little bit can just add something.
You know,
whatever.
When you are, I paint sometimes, but just for me and for the house. But when you are painting, and it's different that when you are using crystals. The crystal have many shades, depending the light.
Yeah.
The paint is not the same thing when you see something in the wall. You can use the light to make it look different, but not the same like when you are using crystals or stones. Also, the thread that you use give you more deep, more shiny, more brightness, or more darkness, depending what you are using as of thread. What thread are you using? I use this
I
one.
know you. Yeah, I was gonna say, you're gonna show your thread.
This is the one that I use.
It's
I use
amazing
gold.
how to use it. So
I use gold. So when I'm using my gold beads, this gives me a lot of bright in my projects. I love this one. But for example, I am doing this, which is like smaller fans that the same that I use for one of the necklace. I have a lot of them here. So I use a color of thread that is similar. But this is because I need that for what I am trying to do. Maybe in a few years I will finish this.
do you use gems and stones like Larimar anymore in your work? Because I know you use more crystals and
Um, I need to travel again to Dominican Republic to find the right Larimer. I have Larimer here, but I I need some round stones, like really a round shape to do what I want to do. So the ones that I have here, probably I will use it for. I want to do a few brooch pins. Uh, Probably I use them for that, not for a big necklace because it's very expensive to do a big necklace using Larimer.
And it's heavier using stones, but I
Yeah.
did like that some of the work that you did, you combined the two, the
Mm-hmm.
stones with crystals. So.
I love to do that, and I don't have problem to sell the big necklaces, but it's expensive.
Mhm.
Someone is asking me, Sue is asking me about what kind of thread is this one. Well, this one is Fireline Flame Green. This is the name. I have white and I have the smoke one, but this is the one that I most use.
Edgar, you were talking about color and brown. They're not colors that I wear, but I do like working with kind of an autumn blend of colors, brown and rust and gold. You can develop a very rich palette. But the other thing is I like to do both shiny and matte beads together to give depth.
That is really, really, really good. I love that. And I sometimes I do that with my crystals. I use, for example, any B2X crystal that I have a lot of shiny, and then I use another one that is probably opal.
Yeah.
Doesn't have that brightness. And about the colors, I have my own challenge. Maybe for the next year, I want to do something for the fall, going
Mhm.
from the brown, yellow, oranges, and probably some red. So I want to use that color scheme for one project. I have to start very early
Yeah.
to find the proper beats.
That'd be fabulous.
Yes, but now that also is a challenge for me because I have to think when I am designing. Um, I am doing this to sell the necklace or the bracelet, or I am doing this for a project. If I am doing this for a project, I have to think that the materials that I using I, I can be used more. I have the amounts for that because I have a lot of stones here, but I have a lot of vintage stones that I can't find it anymore. So I need to think about that also. If I am doing something and I don't have enough, it's hard for me to do kids. So it's a process. And also I like to use the Swarovski, but Swarovski is hard now to find all the colors. It's hard to buy from them. So I try to buy any brand that I like the colors. No stick just in one brand. Can be Swarovski, can be Chinese, can be Czech, anything that I like colors.
Svetlana has a really good question. She said, how do you take care of your beaded jewelry? Do you need to clean them from time to time, and how do you store them?
Well, I clean them, but I don't use any chemical products. I just use a towel that I have for that, a proper towel. It's different when you are cleaning beads and crystals. That what you are, for example, cleaning real jewelry. That I used to do also real jewelry. Because the crystals have a coating, the beads have a coating. So if you try to polish too much that will be a problem. And about the storage, I have boxes. I display some of them in my studio here, in my office. for a few days or for a few weeks, but then I have boxes. I put them in some bags that doesn't have too much dust and things inside. So I put them, then I put them in the boxes, and I storage in one of my drawers that I have here. But also, since since I moved here 5 years ago, I start to do 1, 2, or 3 times a year, depending the amount of jewelry I have. I tend to do a sample sale. I did it 2 times this year because in the beginning, my business was mainly sell my jewelry. Then I was changing that to switch just to jewelry to sell when I have commissions for that. So I don't have like a stock of jewelry of necklaces to sell. I don't do that anymore. Just if somebody wants something, I do it. So, but I am teaching now more and doing more kits. So I have a lot of samples. I don't want to be attached to any of my project like physically. So every year I do 1 or 2 sales to don't have a lot of jewelry here. I put them like a really good price, and after that, it's a good way to doesn't have a lot of jewelry here, and for others to enjoy what I do, and also I don't have to clean too much. There was a few of my necklaces that was hard for me to sell because I didn't want to, but I just put in my mind that I don't need to be attached, so that's what I like to do.
Mhm.
The
It's my
silver piece that you were holding up and the other one, are those your new designs?
oh, that's yes, but there are kids. The name, I think I have a picture. I don't know if I have it here. It's a holiday project that I have. Is the name is Star of Christmas. I probably have that one picture here. Let me find it. Okay, this one. So this is a component, a piece that I did that can be a pendant, or can be something to put in your tree, or an ornament. I do one ornament every year, so this, but I try to do things that you can wear or you can use it as an ornament.
Beautiful.
And it's not as big as my necklaces, because for the same reason I want you to use it for one thing or the other. It have to be easy to do, because if somebody can want to do more than one, so it have to be easy.
I love how versatile all your stuff is. It's just the component system really is like
Thank you.
so cool.
I really hope you can send me pictures about
to meet
the yes. And I think the instructions that I sent have my email, so you can write me anytime. I don't have problem with that. If you need help or you have question about anything, you can write me.
And you have an
It,
email newsletter too that you send out.
mhm.
That
It's the same. It's the
what's
same
going
one.
on,
Yes.
your new designs,
Mhm.
your Zoom classes, or
Oh yes, you can sign for my email, and every time that I do something, I send an email, and you can see what is my new design, or if I have something new in my store or anything.
Is it
So just
possible to buy a kit for that pattern that you are going to send in an email? like beads, crystals?
Well, I don't have, I think I don't have a kid now, but I can do kids. So if you want to a particular kid or that kid for the pattern that I send, I can do it. That
Yeah.
is not a problem.
I even mean not the kit, but just some materials. So
Oh
I
yes,
don't need to
yes.
search the all
If
the
you
way.
need some materials, also you can let
Mhm.
me know. Don't
Okay,
have to be the same colors. Can be other colors, so it's okay.
great. And also my quick question, do you sell on Etsy?
I have a store in Exit, but in Exit store, I just have some patterns. You can find me with my name, Edgar Lopez Designs, or I have the other store that I have is in Shopify. I can send the link later, and you can share the link later if you want. In that one, I sell the kits.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Oh, and
welcome.
by the way, do you have a YouTube channel where you teach?
Not now. I am working. That's my next step. I'm working in that, but it's a lot of work because I am trying to do like short videos, uh, teaching the techniques that I use, or teaching some of the projects, just a small part of them. But it's a lot of work because I have to do the editing and everything. But I will do it. Next year, that's my first thing that I have to do.
Well,
Yeah.
Svetlana, you have many followings on your YouTube channel. Do you have any advice for Edgar starting his?
Oh, yeah, I just can ask him to start it as soon as possible. And one of the ideas is like, for example, I was impressed by those little squares that you showed in the beginning. So it's kind of, it's probably should be easy to show how to make that one little square and then to show the final work that eventually you can create this great biggest jewelry from those little squares. So you don't need to show each and every square type, but just only one. And but people will be inspired by like what you can do from it.
Thank you for the advice. What I was thinking about that is um, I will start for the technique that I use the most for my vessels, which is not a technique that most of the people use, because from that I do a lot of my components when I need to bezel something. So probably I will start from that, and then let's see. Probably the square is a good idea also because I have a lot of projects using that one. It's very easy to do it when you know how to do it. You can do it like a couple of minutes. So I will try to do that.
Yeah, and you can also start from, if not showing, if not teaching right away, but at least showcasing your works. Like maybe you have some videos of your models from the like from your shootings or whatever, staging or fashion shows. So, or
Yes, I have
just to
a lot of
introduce your
material.
works. Yeah.
I have a lot of materials with that, so with the fashion shows and the shootings.
Yeah, just to start publishing it on YouTube, so people start kind of subscribing and admiring.
Thank you. I will do it. That's my next thing to do.
Yeah,
I need more hours in the day.
I know.
same
How
here.
It's hard. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I am so inspired by everything and um great advice. I can't wait to go start beading and see what colors I can make your bracelet in.
Thank you so much for having me today. Thank you so much for letting me be part of this amazing group of people. I really love and enjoy to be around people, and I think having Zoom allows me to reach people from everywhere and be part of every one of you. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was
I have to
wonderful.
say, since I've taken classes from him before, he is a very generous teacher. And when he says, here's my email address, if you have any questions, or do you need anything, email me. He loves talking to you, answering your questions. He's very generous person. He loves the world of beading and working and speaking to and sharing with beaters. So I just want to say,
Yes, thank you so much. Write me. I love that.
yeah,
For sure.
yes.
Thank you so much. And like I said, we will be emailing out the pattern to you. He just sent us today, so we're getting it through the chain, into the chain, and we'll be sending it to our thing. And then, so make sure that you've got it's a 15 pager. It's kind of long, isn't it?
Well, all my patterns, I like that because I take a lot of
So if
pictures.
you're gonna print it, make sure you have a lot of ink in your machine. Otherwise, just download it and you can zoom in really close. And so, but it will be coming out, and all then the other information on the color theory stuff too will all be in that email very soon. So watch your emails.
Thank
So
you.
I'm going to stop recording.